everybody, welcome to the Bonser Musical Instruments woodshop. My name is John. So with everybody stuck at home these days, I'm no exception. Except I'm lucky enough to have my shop at my house, which allows me to work. So I was sort of thinking about maybe having some fun with some parts and materials that I have laying around, and take this opportunity to shoot a video showing the process that I go through to build a guitar. If that sounds interesting, stick around. So sort of the instigator of this project was this lump of mahogany that I have. It's been in my shop for quite a long time. I thought maybe this would be what I would use to make the guitar out of, and it's dead quarter sawn, meaning the grain is going this way. It's 11 inches, it's 16 quarter or 4 inches thick, and it measures about 5 feet long, so it ought to be plenty to get at least one or probably 3 or 4 guitars out of. The challenge is going to be coming in the trying to get this milled up, because it's kind of large for the machines that I have at my disposal. So we're going to have to be a little tricky with a couple of things, but I've been spending some time laying out where I want to cut this, and trying to figure out what the best use of this material is. I have this template that I made up, and this is the shape of the body that I think I'm going to make for this project. And laying this out, I think I can get, if I cut it right, I can get 2 bodies worth of material and probably 2 necks worth of material. So what I think I'd like to do is I'll probably end up saving the second guitar's worth of material out of this piece of wood, just because it's kind of an expensive, nice piece. But anyway, I think it's going to work pretty well. I'm thinking sort of a solid mahogany guitar, solid, mahogany body, mahogany neck, maybe something in the, kind of like an SG or a junior. So anyway, that's the plan. So let's get to chopping this up. So the first step here is cutting this thing to length, and so like I say, it's 4 inches thick. I can get a little bit better than 2 out of my table saw blade here when it's on the sled. So we're gonna have to cut it in 2 passes. Cut it once, flip it, cut it again. But I think we'll get it. This took a couple minutes, and laid out what the spots that I want to cut this. Give myself plenty of room here, so I can get probably 1, 2 body sets. I'm going to resaw this down the middle and book match it. So there's 2 bodies there, and then I'm left with like 4 1/4 inches, which, I really only need about 3 to make the neck. And again, it's 4 inches thick, so I think I can probably get at least 2 necks out of that portion. So the next step is to rip this off on the bandsaw, the neck blank, and then maybe I can actually pick this thing up. It's pretty heavy as it is. got our blank all sort of, roughly squared up here. And the next step is to saw this in half so we can open it up and glue it back together, book match it. Now the problem is my bandsaw only cuts 6 inches, and this is like 6 3/4 or so. We're gonna have to figure out another way to do that. And I think I've got maybe a trick up my sleeve. Within a little extra work, we can get it done. So I got as much of this cut as I could on the table saw, and you saw that in the last clip. And then the idea here is now I've just got this little smaller piece of wood, and take my Japanese rip saw here and saw the rest of the way top to bottom. So let's get to it. It's gonna take a while. I spent some time finishing up the milling on these, getting them nice and flat and true, and joining this edge. And I think we're ready to glue these up. So if we you can still see the witness mark on here from when it was a solid piece, and when I split it and I open it up like this, and that's what we call book match. I also, when I jointed these edges, ended up tapering them just a little bit to get the grain to run straight. And so when these are glued together, the grain matches on both sides, and everything's nice and straight. So we're ready for some glue. Titebond Original, that's what I use for all my glue ups. I prefer this to the other fancier stuff. As long as it's fresh, it should be great for guitar building. Hide glue is cool too, but it's kind of a pain. So I want to glue both sides. I'll use my fancy glue spreader here. And I milled these a little, they're about 1 5/8 thick. I'm shooting for like 1.5 inches. So they're a little over thickness, so I don't really have to be all that precious with the glue. A little squeeze out, it's fine. We can clean that off. We're going to be milling these down a little bit to thickness anyway later. So I just want to make sure that both surfaces are completely wetted out with glue. Something like that. So I'm going to clamp these down to the bench as part of the glue up, and to keep my table clean and keep from gluing the pieces of wood to the bench, I put down a piece of parchment paper, which the glue won't stick to. So the bench is nice and flat, and that way we can position these where we want them to and clamp them down to the table, and we're assured that we'll get a fairly even surface when we're done here. So I'm just going to kind of, moderately loosely clamp this to the bench here. We want these to be able to slide, together if they need to. So That looks good. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some bigger clamps across the middle. I'm looking for a little bit of squeeze out, but you don't want to squeeze all the glue out because that'll actually make for a weaker joint, even though it might look tighter. You have to rely on your surfaces being nice and straight and true jointed to close the gap, not the strength of the clamps clamping them together. Okay, and that looks pretty good. We've got squeeze out all the way around. We'll let that sit for an hour or so. Probably more likely I'll let them sit overnight just because it's kind of the end of the night, but there we go. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe and give me a like down below. Questions and comments are definitely welcome. We'll be back next time with more of this guitar build, trying to build something out of just stuff we have laying around the shop. For now, I'm John from Bonser Musical Instruments. Stay healthy out there. Thanks for watching.